Hello, my friends. Andy coming to you from Yorba Linda, California for the Andy Falco Show. And I'm going to touch on a couple things. I normally don't bring up scripture or the Bible when I'm doing a video in regard to PYUSD because you have lunatics like Alan Zakarian, who I'm going to talk about in just a minute, who will then put up a post say, see, this guy, this man, or whatever, I don't know what he calls me, but I've been called a lot of different names, wants to bring Christianity into the public school simply because I'm bringing up scripture or my faith during a video. So I usually don't do that because these people are nuts. But I'm going to bring up something that's very important for you to understand, that regardless if you're a Christian, Catholic, Protestant, atheist, or agnostic, or Jew, or what have you, that there are some things that are in the Bible that we all use in our daily speech. There's certain things and sayings and whatnot that are said, and people use them regardless of their faith. So I'm going to bring up a scripture and a story that Pastor Bob Kopeny brought up in his message today that I think will help people understand why it's important, like parents like myself and the hundreds of other parents that I work with, to bring attention to the lies being spread in Yorba Linda Moms and PYL Buzz, and when you're sitting at the stands at a sports event with your kids and the parent next to you is a lunatic and trying to tell you that hundreds of teachers are being fired, 25 principals have been fired. It's complete anarchy, and it's a purge of all the greatest teachers and superintendents in our lifetime are being kicked out of PYUSD. All of it a lie, but has to be brought up, because if we didn't speak up, if we didn't bring you the truth, and we didn't show you the verbiage that they're using in these private groups to fool people into believing that what they're saying is the truth, then who is going to tell you? And so there has to be people that are not willing to tolerate what is going on in these private groups, or what's going on and has been going on in our school district for many, many years. And so it is incumbent upon some of us who are willing to do so to bring up some of these issues. So Pastor Bob Kopeny today in his message over at Calvary Chapel East Anaheim related a story that he said he's never told anybody before, that he's never shared publicly before, and that was that he was had a dream that he and a few other famous pastors were driving along and got into a car accident, and they all died. They suddenly, instantaneously appeared in heaven, which is what our belief is, and I think that's going to be fantastic. And there he is in heaven, and now he realizes he's standing in front of Jesus Christ. And the elation of being up in heaven with Jesus just was amazing. He said that it was fantastic. It was a fantastic feeling, and it was a feeling that he knew that he would have once he was face to face with Jesus. But very quickly he realized that Jesus' face was one of disappointment, and his countenance changed. And Jesus said, "Why did you tolerate it?" And he said that hit him like, oh my gosh, why did I tolerate it? And he woke up, and that brought him into a place, this was years and years ago, where he knew that he would not be allowed to be one who tolerated it. It being in Revelation 2:20, which I'll share with you right now, that says, "Nevertheless, I have this against you. You tolerate that woman Jezebel, who calls herself a prophet. By her teaching, she misleads my servants into sexual immorality and the eating of food sacrificed to idols." Revelation 2:20. And so I bring this up because, as Pastor Bob was trying to share today, and that I have tried to do over the last 5 years that I've been doing these videos and shows, is to remind those of you that, for whatever reason, have decided that you're not going to speak up, that you find the idea of facing off against some of these lunatics that are in the teachers unions, and that have been used and that are tools and useful idiots by the teachers unions, you've decided that, it's not worth it because they'll attack my business. They will call me names. My sister is one of those lunatics, or my best friend's wife is one of those lunatics, or her husband's one of those lunatics. And so, I just don't want to cause any problems. Well, you're tolerating it. Expect to get the look from Jesus in your face that Pastor Bob got, where he says, "Why did you tolerate it?" And so I think it's important to understand that these things need to be done and said. I know that I get tons of grief. I've shared some of the comments that they have in Yorba Linda Moms and PYO Buzz about saying that I harass Yorba Linda moms. I don't. I've asked them to share any videos where I've done that. I've had them put bad ratings on my business on Yelp. I shared the day that happened, and what the message was, that I run the most horrible dog training business in the world, something along those lines. That comes from one of those teachers union hacks, because I know every one of my customers by name, and the name they use to put up that complaint, it definitely is not any of my customers. And it was done right after I posted a video talking about the teachers union and how horrible they are for our children and our families. They just wrote an email not too long ago, I think it was a few weeks ago, to Pastor Bob Kopany, saying that he should not allow me to continue to attend Calvary Chapel East Anaheim. I talked to him about it today, and he just kind of laughed at it and said that that's going to happen when you go against the devil. They are going to do everything they can to sully your reputation, and he said that that's exactly what I saw in that email, that you obviously are doing something right. To losing family members. I've lost tons of friends, not tons, a few friends, I exaggerated, friends and family who won't speak to me because of the stance that I've taken, that men should not be competing with girls in girls sports, that the state should not be allowed to take our children because my 8-year-old for a couple days thinks that he's a girl, and if I don't acknowledge that and accept it, that they will take my son and they will have an operation where they will cut his testicles off and give him hormone treatments. That is something that I think is not right. And so I have a few family members that don't understand that. They want the state to be able to take their children from them, and have body parts cut off. That's okay with them. So we don't agree on that. And then you have people like Alan Zakarin. Alan Zakarin is a useful idiot of the teachers unions. He's been attacking any conservative running for school board over the last couple of years, and it's just horrific nastiness. It's just beyond my comprehension of this guy identifies as a man, but I doubt very much that he's actually a man. I think that he's something else. I'm not quite sure. In this world, you never know. But let's just look at one of his posts. This was the other day. I think it was yesterday, I believe. I'm not sure when it came across. But Jason Kraft, another hoot of a person. I haven't quite figured him out yet. But I've mentioned him a few times. But there's this post where it's talking about Leandra Blades, the things that she's done within the district and even outside the district for kids. Talking about her being members of the boosters clubs and what have you. And then you have, let's go down to the bottom. Sorry, I was looking for it really quick here. Down at the bottom, it says that Alan Zakarin says, Jason Kraft, it's worth noting Blades retired because she killed a homeless person on duty. For someone that really is anti-union, a union is the only reason she's not in prison. So these are the things. Like I said, I've had some horrible things written about me. I've had the church called, telling them that they should kick me out. You name it. But this is the lowest of low blows. This guy who pretends to be a man attacks Leandra Blades, who is a police officer on duty, who had to make the horrific choice to take a life. And he just writes about it as if None of that kind of stuff matters. The truth doesn't matter. Because the truth is, it was a justified shooting of a man who had a knife who was going to attempt to kill Officer Blades, and she fired in self-defense. And the DA investigated her. I'm sure there was an internal affairs investigation to do with it. And there was no need for the police union, who only gets involved when it is when there is an issue in regard to the employment, not about officer involved shootings. Alan Zakarian is an idiot. He writes about things that he knows nothing about. The union would have nothing to do with the investigation or the legalities of an officer involved shooting. The DA does that, and in some cases, the U.S. Attorney General's office would do it if there's something more flagrant that's concerning about somebody's civil rights. But a simple officer involved shooting, the Orange County, or LA County, sorry, she was in LA County. LA County DA is the one who investigates it, and again, quite often, Internal Affairs has a follow-up investigation. Leandra Blades was found to be justified in using deadly force in an incident where her life was in danger. And the final thing is, there is always an issue, regardless if I were to talk to Leandra Blades, she would say, I'm fine. It's not, it was a shooting. It was difficult, but I'm okay with it. She could say that. But Alan Zakarian has no idea what it's like. He probably has no idea what it's like to be in a fight, or a fight that he's won. Is that when you harm somebody or hurt somebody, that it can be difficult. When you, as a police officer, I had to break somebody's arm, I had to shoot somebody, I had to do a number of things, and none of those things are easy. Every one of them, the department, for the most part, encourages you or requires you to go talk to the city psychiatrist to make sure that there's not going to be any long-term, depression or issues from having to use deadly force, whether you kill the person or not. And Alan Zakarian has no care for another human being. Whether he likes her or not, his hatred for Leandra is such that he has no humanly care, no morals, no even second thought about, what, this incident, could have been fairly traumatic for Leandra. When I address her record as a school board member, instead of attacking her in a way that is just horrific. Let me just bring that up one more time. And it says that noting Blades retired because she killed a homeless person on duty, and that she should be in prison. This may be one of the most horrific, hateful, nasty things that anyone can say. But it's not unusual for Alan Zakarian to do such a thing, because he's been doing this for many years, and he just does not care. If you are taking your advice from Alan Zakarian, then you may want to, maybe look at yourself in the mirror and see if this is somebody that you need to look up to and follow his direction. He is supporting, I'm going to show you in this next slide here, he is supporting Jansen, Quintero, and Anderson. And this is somebody who, again, is part of the union. Jansen, Quintero, and Anderson are all following this person, Alan Zakarian, and they loved what he's doing. They agree with everything that he's doing, so much that he even writes this in this post, that he says, "We don't need politicians on the board hiding donations. Leandra Blade has never hidden a donation in the 2 campaigns that I know that I've been involved with, and I've been fairly involved in trying to keep track of everything possible about my candidates that I'm supporting to make sure they're doing the right thing. And Leandra Blades has never not done the right thing when it comes to her campaign. She knows more about running a campaign and the legalities behind it than anybody that I know, maybe other than my wife. We don't need vendors getting bids because they're friends with the board. That's not what happened in any case that is involving any of the contractors that Dr. Alex Chernis has signed contracts with for the district, or anybody else that I know of that's under his executive staff or the majority board trustees. Money funneled from the schools our kids attend into overpriced pet projects. I have no idea what he's talking about there because none of that is happening. A line of private charters knocking down our doors and pulling more and more funds from already underfunded schools. The underfunded schools part, let me just address that. If it is underfunded, it's because of the decades of mismanagement of the previous superintendents and school board members that have used money and hidden money from the parents in the school district and used it to give themselves raises, is what was happening prior to the current executive staff and majority board members. The hostility towards underrepresented communities. What are they talking about? There's never been a superintendent that's done more in the underrepresented communities than Dr. Alex Chern is. He's crazy, this Alan Zakarin. No, I already read that. An environment that drives our great teachers away and keeps strong teachers from considering PYL. And yeah, so let me just come back to my camera really quick. And so all of those things are lies. None of that is true. And I've just said this in the last video, is that we are now up to 470, I believe, new enrollments, which for every year coming into this year, the previous administrations that have been in place and the trustees, they lost 400 every year. Lost 400 every year. This year, we've increased enrollment. Us parents who are doing the right thing through electing the people that are in place now, increased enrollment to right now, as it stands, 470 in the school district. So, Alan Zakarin, you are a knucklehead. I don't even know what because I want to use other words, so I have to use some other stuff. I've been told that it would be helpful if I wasn't using bad words to call people, but and I think I've done pretty good with Alan Zakarin. But this is who you're listening to. If you are in PYO Buzz and you see any of these posts, first look to see who's posting it, and then everything after that is a lie. That's just the way that it's been over the last several years. I can prove it to you. I have every screenshot that people have sent me in regard to Alan Zakarin. I've been seeing for years that he has never shared the truth. It has never been the truth. It has only been a comment or some aspect of a response to a post that is made to confuse people and to get them to believe some narrative that is just completely false. So I hope this has been helpful for you to understand who it is that's writing in these things, these social media platforms, and just take a gander at who's writing it, and then you'll know whether or not you should trust it. All right, my friends, that's it. I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.